So I was just watching a interview with David Paulides, who does the Missing 411 books and movies. Yeah, and I haven't seen the movie yet. I've seen a few interviews, and what he has to say is, yeah, quite astonishing, to say the least. So this is Black Mountain in the pictures. I just wanted to go over a few things since I've been talking about non-organic awareness and perception, and I did mention the joining together, the combined forces when inorganic or non-human entities of whatever type abduct people, take people. Now we know they have the ability, people that have come across jinn or things like that, conscious awareness of non-physical entities on the astral plane, and so they seem to have the ability to take you right out of your body, maybe even put you into sleep paralysis, or they might take advantage of that. I know myself from experience. So being taken out of your body or out of your normal awareness is one thing. So it's a type of abduction, so it has to come into the nature of some of these things. For some, I think it's just a curiosity, like other inorganic awareness, like how we're curious, they're curious of us. I mean, they live in a twin world. They are like a relative that is just as messed up as we are. Even worse. So I'm gonna go probably more into the Sourceries of Antiquity, as they are sometimes known. Don't know what they really were. Our term is sorcerers, that's what we call them. No, it is what it is, really. It's just a way of describing these ancients that were aware of. They realized perception was the key, that in essence we are perceivers of reality. I guess that's where even the core of magic is, if you want to call it that. But that'll be the final frontier of science, perception, consciousness, like awareness. But they seem to these things of people, maybe they started out as people, as Antiquity. So we're going to go into the ancient relationship that these physical human beings had with these non-physical ones. I mentioned how they started to develop themselves based upon the inorganic beings. Okay, so I found this interesting. So David Paulides, Missing 411's just like there's certain elements that keep popping up. They don't make sense. I mean, there's zero physical evidence, so we're going to have to go into another angle of approach, because people are going missing. So yeah, around granite. Now we know rock holds certain electrical frequencies, like maybe this helps with inorganic awareness, but I don't know what the geology is around Black Mountain, the rest of it, but it's like one of those out of place things where these things have been piled up like this, nearly, like it could have been from ancient mining, who knows, but nearly on purpose. and left there. Now, that's scary. You gotta watch out some of these weird ancient sites and stuff, or weird random objects. Sometimes they're placed there merely to attract people to that area so these things can get at them. You know what I'm saying? So watch out for that, and I'm theorizing that Black Rock is one of those curious places, because to any, primitive or modern man, it's a curiosity. You're gonna rock up there, you're looking at this thing, you're gonna, it's natural to do so. But yeah, I guess like these more wild landscapes that people go missing in, interesting. It's like I guess it does happen in suburbia, but it has a lot to do with the landscape and what these sorcerers turned themselves into and became part of it in a way. To extend their awareness, in a way, death-defying acts to extend your awareness. So let's forget the motive of why people are going missing, and we'll start with how, and maybe later on we'll get to the why. But so I haven't seen the movies yet. This is just my, once again, pretentious initial jump on it kind of thing. There's a few things that pop out that sparked my curiosity in the facts. Clothing being returned years later when people go on another search for any sort of remains, and the clothing was like not degraded by weather or time or anything. It was like they knew that people were looking even for the missing person years later at a random time. Like, don't know who told them, but yeah. So regardless of this clue, like why would, once again, motive, why would they do that? What is it telling us? To me, it's saying they're being taken to a place that's outside time and space, possibly. Some of them. One person at a time usually goes missing. It's pretty rare you find groups going missing. Now I believe that, like I said, they're doing it, they're using their combined awareness. It's not just one of these things. Like I said, like when it comes to inorganic awareness, they can take you out of your body and into another, like, non-physical realm quite easily, or even out of your body, so you're still here, like looking at your physical body, straight into the room, and you can see them. A lot of accounts of that, and I've experienced that myself. I'll say one person at a time. Now I believe they're focusing once they've combined their awareness, like in their collective, like I was saying, perception, like, is reality. That's what it makes it, like. So if they belong to one reality and they focus all their intention on one person, that's all it takes, really. That's all they'd have to do. Just surround them with their own awareness, but they have to focus on their entirety. Like, they would have to, the energy bodies, all those things. So the way they see us would be interesting too. yeah, like they obviously have an intimate knowledge of us, not because they probably might have used to be human themselves at one stage. But yeah. So what's another point? Well, I'll just say this before we move on. Uh, like when there's a quote from Carlos Castaneda, David Icke uses it. Um, yeah, these, in order to use us to their advantage, these groups of inorganic beings, kind of, it says in the books they engaged in a stupendous act, and then it says they gave us our mind, like a foreign installation. I mean, they gave us our mind, but their mind, like something of theirs, um, which exists as a foreign installation in our perception, something which is like part of the core of the psychopath as well. But it shows their collective agreement and consciousness, and you can't hook up with them. Yeah, that's their stupendous act. Yeah, and that's how they did it. You know, there is a collective of them, and they love groups of people because they can reach more of us and link us to them as well through this mind, which is a non-physical thing as well, which eventually does have physical associations, in genetics even. And DNA is like an antenna. But okay, so that's like, there is no you get all these trackers in there, not one blade of grass is turned over. How else do you explain it? Give me a logical explanation, at least based on some science and history. That's just what I'm doing here. Like, it's, we all want to know. This is my research on it. It might trigger something in yours. So yeah, the people, the lack of lists in the parks, databases, they won't give out the information of who's really going missing, because that has relevance to investigations too, higher up investigations. You have to look at the people surrounding. Like, I would have thought, yeah, they weren't there in the first place, those people that went missing, and other people, it's just a conspiracy between the only few witnesses if they want to get rid of something, or they could be allies with these things as well. It could be a family thing for hundreds of thousands of years, and they might be leading people there or giving over their own family members when some genetic trait pops out that's not like them. They just feed them to their masters or whatever. And don't discount that, because the sources of antiquity use these things as allies. Obviously not always good, and they discovered grotesque ways to immortality and to prolong their awareness, just like the inorganic beings. They were obsessed with them. They thought they could use them. They thought they could form relationships with them. They can bring you intelligence, but there's a price. They can bring you power. So yeah, and when it comes to the people that are going missing, a lot of German physicists. Every physicist was German, apparently. Now, the Germans, certain groups there, we know have had interactions with these inorganic beings, and the more occult side of things, they form alliances with them. Turns from a love of knowledge into an obsession with power, and knowledge is power. But yeah, can go into it should be more of a love affair with knowledge and trying to gain power and dominance over. But yeah, the Germans, that's the only relevance to bloodlines, I thought, because the German thing, I think they're interested in, certain family lines, but not blood types, per se. I'm not sure what blood type has to, blood type is one thing, but there's other things in your genetic code that, don't, really correlate to blood type. There's many combined elements. So, yeah, what else can I talk about? I'm not sure really, but like you said, cameras are useless. Like Politis knows, you're not going to capture these things on camera because they're not physical things made of matter that are abducting. There's no physical evidence. You got to look at the facts, and this is where it's pointing to. It's not a 100% or even 50% physical phenomena. So you gotta really look at it. It's not like I told you about the human connection, how people can be aware of these things and form allegiances with them, but but it goes to show you that it is possible to move with one's totality, not just say in your awareness, your dreaming body, your astral bodies, or remote viewing, however you do it or want to talk about it. It is possible to move one's entirety into another reality as well. I guess so. We'll probably start maybe building technology to do that in the future, but it's going to come down to awareness as well, and perception, frequencies, consciousness. Not sure what else I can say. But yeah, the collective thing, like I said, and them joining together, collective consciousness, bringing people into a separate reality. So I'll probably go watch the movies now. But before I say that, the natives warned people before people started going missing at Black Mountain in Australia. The natives warned them, not to go there. So there's certain places, and if people know where you are, it's less likely for them to abduct you. But if they want you, they're gonna get you. That's all I'll say. I'm sure this stuff happens in suburbia too. I know for a fact, myself, something's happened exactly like this, but I found myself back here. But so just take care of each other. Make sure you always, because no one's gone missing with the locator beacon or a gun. It's they don't want to leave too much evidence either, but sometimes for whatever reason I think they have lack of self-control and limited attention, and they have to move with power and energy, and sometimes things happen, evidence is left, those clothes got brought back, or so there'll always be evidence. Even the lack of evidence shows where to look, and this is the area I'm looking in when it comes to solving this little mystery. Alright, see ya.